The war in West Asia is forcing countries around the world to choose sides, but India appears to be walking a far more delicate path. Just hours ago, India's Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri visited the Iranian Embassy in New Delhi and signed the condolence register, meeting Iran's ambassador to India in a gesture that signals diplomatic engagement even during a moment of conflict. At the same time, India's outreach has extended across the region. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has spoken with several leaders from Sunni-majority countries over the past few days as New Delhi works to stay engaged with all sides of the crisis. And the diplomatic activity didn't end there. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar held a telephonic conversation with Iranian Foreign Minister Seyed Abbas Araghchi, discussing the rapidly evolving situation as tension escalates between Iran, Israel and the United States. All of this diplomacy appears to have produced a significant strategic signal from Tehran. Araghchi now says that the Strait of Hormuz, one of the most critical shipping lanes in the world, is effectively closed to vessels from US, Israel, Europe. But Indian ships are not included in that restriction. For India, the exemption is enormously significant. Nearly 20% of the world's oil flows through the Strait of Hormuz. Reports suggest an Iranian-linked vessel, which is another development, has also been attacked in waters not far from India's maritime zone, raising fresh concerns about the safety of commercial shipping routes. Now, the issue is that the Sri Lankans are saying that they're trying their best to resolve this situation. This special Iranian vessel, Bushehr, is in the Sri Lanka's external economic zone. On Thursday, American submarine had blown up the frigate, which had left the the Bay of Bengal, and was going down Hanbantota to Iran after finishing Milan exercises. On this issue, I am joined by Major General S.B. Asthana and Lieutenant General Arun Sahni. Thank you, both of you. Let me straight away go to General Asthana. Sir, Prime Minister Modi had spoken with a lot of leaders in last 5 days, and now Mr. Misri had gone to the Iranian embassy, and subsequently there had been a phone call. Can we say that this is the delicate balancing act? And what is your opinion in context of downing of a frigate in Sri Lankan waters?
It's certainly a strategic balancing, and I think India is showing very maturely the strategic autonomy. Logically, if a supreme leader was nominated, maybe the Prime Minister would have spoken. But in absence of that, I think the Foreign Minister has spoken and Foreign Secretary has gone. I think that way we have shown that kind of maturity. Now, in context of what you asked, certainly, although US can claim that they shot the ship or they downed the ship in international water, but then the fact is that that ship had come to India for an exercise. And once it was going out, so technically, all right, it's okay that you shot it in the international water. But certainly it was not a good gesture as far as India is concerned from the American point of view. They should have waited perhaps a little more, notwithstanding that what they did. So apparently, I think we need to balance out, like it or not, the attack on Iran, for whatever reasons they have done it, it is an attack on a sovereign country without provocation, in a manner that there was no imminent threat to USA. And that, I think, their own people are also criticizing accordingly. But notwithstanding that, India has not got involved into this politics, and it is essential for India to buy its time, build its strength, and not get involved in any unnecessary controversies everywhere in the world. So apparently, I think this will also help us in establishing good rapport with Iranis, and also a smoother flow of oil into Indian continent. That's
it. General Sahni, how do you look at this development? You know, the Prime Minister spoke with 7-8 countries, primarily the Sunni nations of the West Asia. But now, Mr. Misri had gone to the embassy and the Foreign Minister had spoken. How should we frame this? Balancing act, or do you think that we thought that some sort of recalibration is required? Where will you put this?
Good evening, Karthike. Great to be on your show again. I think you've correctly stated two things. Is it a balancing act or is it a renegotiation or a re-look at our own strategy? I think undoubtedly it's a balancing act. Today, let's be very clear. The power bloc which really dominates the world today is USA. Today, India is in a very, very sensitive stage as far as this year is concerned. You are also hosting and chairing the BRICS chairmanship. You are also looking at most of the allies who are involved in this conflict are people with whom we have relationships which have long-term implications for India's both energy security and also for our trade and other issues related to our development, whether it is the IMEC, whether you look at the oil and energy crisis. I think two, three things have to be noted. One, if a head of state has been killed and there is a diplomatic methodology by which there is a condolence book kept in the embassy, I think we are obliged to go and sign it, irrespective of what might be our relationships. And if you look today, when Khalida Zia passed away, though we had one of the worst relationships with Bangladesh under her prime ministership, we did reach out and approach her. So I think in that context, this is to be looked more as a balancing act where you did your diplomatic necessities. You have ensured also that your relationships, as far as the big powers are concerned, do not get impacted or get spoiled. So I think, may I just put it like this, that it is a balancing act. India is sitting on a tightrope. I think we just have to play it by the ear because we can take neither sides in an open confrontation like this. Things which are wrong, and that's what the Prime Minister of India has stated. He has stated that what has happened in Israel is not correct. What has happened in Iran by increasing the span of conflict is not correct. I think that's how we'll have to play it. It'll be very difficult to decide what we want to do or what we want to say, except for the fact we will have to balance this with sensitivity. On one side, you've got the large power who actually dictates a lot of orders and has violated all rules and regulations. Their game plan seems to be overarching umbrella of trying to
Okay.
stifle the growth of China. So I think in that overall umbrella, I think India will have to play it very sensitively. I think as of now, we've been playing it well. I think we'll have to just carry on this a little more subtly and without having to show that we are on one side or the other. We are on the side of justice, open navigation in the seas by bringing that conflict and knocking off ships in the proximity of India actually again throws up an issue of international waters. What is safe, what is right, what is wrong. Unfortunately, like I say, the lathi and the danda is in the hand of the US. You'll have to sort of accept it. In Trump's US today, there are no rules, no regulations. He follows exactly what he wants to do. So
But
his big
everyone was surprised. Everyone was surprised when Americans blew the frigate in the Sri Lankan sea. Everyone was surprised, and most importantly, we are also signatories of both. Lemua and Comcasa, the partnership has been taken to a different level. So technically they can do anything, but General Asthana, my question is, there is also a sensitivity of the country.
Certainly, they should have taken the sensitivity of India into consideration, but notwithstanding that, Trump being what he is and America being what it is. And let me just highlight from the broader strategic perspective. You see, when China was growing, they had a strategy called as calculative strategy that postponed all disputes, don't get involved anywhere, and build your strength, hide your strength, and buy your time. If India has to become Viksit Bharat 2047, we will have to do exactly the same thing. That we can't afford to get involved in the big power politics and big power contestation. So I think we need something from everybody. We need something from China. We need something from USA, and we also need a lot from Gulf too. So therefore, we will have to look and make sure that this kind of strategic balancing carries on without we getting involved unnecessarily into somebody else. As far as we are concerned, I think the strategic interest of India is most important, and our energy interest, our energy security is absolutely important. We know that the US is not reliable, and we will have to take it that way. And we have to make our all strategic calculations accordingly. So I think what has been done is a very, I would say, strategic maturity, diplomatic maturity, and I compliment that. In fact, I was waiting that this should happen very fast. I think we were anticipating it to happen maybe a day earlier, but notwithstanding that, it has happened.
Absolutely. But sir, General Sani, a lot of people say that, this will have an implication of India's leadership of Global South. What has happened in Sri Lanka. Do you agree with that view? That we need to put our point more forcefully, or we need to maintain, some experts say, strategic restraint?
May I put it like this, that there are certain issues which states do which do not have to be in the open domain. I'm sure India would have reached out to America when an issue like this happened. I'm sure there would have been certain amount of our concerns voiced, but I don't think we need to publicly voice it in a broader format and debate it. Undoubtedly, India has to play it balanced. I mean, I think we'll have to play this balancing act in the current situation and wait later to look about it. But I don't think an incident like this will actually impact what your leadership of Global South is going to do. I think we still remain the easiest, uh, I think, access for any of them for their developmental projects, for anything that looks at digitization, whatever that looks at for trade. I think India has been actually more than forthcoming. So I don't think a stray incident like this will matter. And I'm sure, I am quite convinced, I've retired now for some time ago, but I'm 100% sure that we would have voiced our concerns to the Americans at the right forum. And I don't think that requires to be debated in public domain. That's
Okay.
how I look at it.
Okay.
There are a lot of things that have to be done.
Absolutely. I don't think the war is ending in next 48 hours, but the fact of the matter is that India somewhere will need to maintain its strategic autonomy, but how much of restraint has to be displayed is a debatable topic, because a lot of experts, they were tweeting today, they were saying we should be slightly more vociferous, but then I would say foreign policy and expression of national security and national interest. If silence gives it to you, good. If speaking gives it to you, better. But I think what is important is our own national interest, and nothing else should matter.
That is
Thank you.
predominant. That is predominant.